Some people thrive in mediocrity.
That's Joel in a nutshell.
Yep.
You nailed it, Jared. Damn.
Man,
Maybe that's why
barely
I'm a
even
Viking.
know us, and it's like he's known us forever.
Maybe that's why I'm still a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, curlers, welcome to Curling Nation Season 4, Episode 12. Wait, we're only playing 8? Today we're talking with Jared Allen. And I know what you're thinking, how did we get the 2006 Amsterdam Admirals quarterback in? No, not that Jared Allen. Look it up. There's another Jared Allen that played football.
There's one that plays basketball, too.
Yeah, that's Jarrett. I think.
No, I think there's a Jared Allen that plays basketball currently.
I looked
for
it
the
up. I thought it was
Cleveland
Jarrett.
Cavaliers.
Yeah.
We're going to look it up.
We're going to look it up. I think it's spelled differently, though. Jared
Yeah,
Allen
fine.
that played for the Admirals. Fine. Fine. Shut up. It's funny.
Yeah.
No, we got Jared Allen, All-Pro Vikings sports ball player. Turned curler. We have a good conversation about almost everything. A little football, a little curling. But anyway, we got our sponsors first. Motors Financial is your credit card processing and point of sale technology partner. If you need a single payment processor or an online store, or you're running a whole store with a whole bunch of payment stuff that you need to take money, contact Mason, motorscc.com. They offer a wide variety of payment processing services, each with enhanced features designed to help credit card processing payments increase your sales, reduce expenses, and improve your productivity. Visit motorscc.com. Also, Endgame Curling. Croy made a very nice broom again. The Icon.
Yep.
I got it right this time.
Still waiting for my green one.
Yep.
Oh.
Icon, the most eco-friendly head replacement in the business. All you gotta do is change out the fabric. It's you keep the pad, keep the back plate. Eco-friendly. Change out the heads a lot cheaper than normal. He's got a travel broom which breaks down real nice and is still strong enough to use to sweep.
Yeah, it's great. Seen it used
Yeah,
firsthand.
He's got the anti-grip silicone sleeve.
Anti-slip.
Anti-slip. Anti-grip would be the opposite of what he was going for.
Right.
Get it right. This is a terrible ad read.
Terrible ad read.
Yeah.
Shut up, Richard.
Mediocrity.
Shut up, Richard. Anyway, endgamecurling.com. He's got some good stuff. World Fabric. Yeah. Endgame.
Buy one.
Buy one. I did.
Yeah. You're right. Jared Allen, NBA is Jarrett. 2 R's, 2 T's.
Right, because I looked it up before.
Yeah, well,
I did research on
just because
the
you
one
looked
time
it
I
up
did
on
research.
the internet doesn't mean it's true, Joel.
Sure does.
Yeah, I guess so. Everything on the internet is true.
That's where I'm a doctor.
Abraham Lincoln said that.
All right.
All right, what's going on in the curling world? Nothing.
There's a couple things that happened. So Club Nationals, the team from Madison won on the women's side.
Yep. Congratulations.
Sydney
Sid
Schroeder,
and
Joanna Sabuth, Celeste Taylor,
Yep.
and Lois Buckingham.
Yep.
Congratulations to
ladies.
them. They were on our Monday Night League.
They were.
So,
Accurate. True story.
cool.
Joanna's my karaoke buddy.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
What'd you sing?
What did we sing? We sang a Backstreet Boys song. She asked if I wanted to sing a duet, and I was like, sure, pick something out. I thought we were going to sing like a little Sonny and Cher or something, and it was Backstreet Boys. I don't know. Might have been an NSYNC song. I don't remember. But we sang together. It was fun. It's good. Anyway, I digress. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right off the rails.
That's what. Well, it's not like the show's ever on the rails, Mike.
What do you think the best duet song would be?
Best duets? Ooh, I'm going to come back to me. Let me think about it.
Sonny and Cher?
You got to be kind of in a relationship for that.
I think.
I Got You, Babe, to be the song, I think.
Oh,
but
no,
maybe.
Craig, you can make it creepy.
Well, yeah, but
Another one kind
I
of
don't know.
relationship.
I like that song. I think you
Another-
gotta have some meaning behind that.
Another one kind of relationship, but more upbeat. Elton John and Kiki D. Don't Go Breaking My Heart. It was a fun
Sure.
little duet song. Although, if you got a good female vocal lead, Love Shack by the B-52s.
No, lame.
No.
Islands in the Stream. Dolly and
Oh,
Kenny.
little Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton.
Yeah,
That's a great one.
that's good. I'm not even gonna pretend to sing it. But
That was a good one.
all right, moving on.
Next on the guy's side, Ryan Berg from the Fargo Moorhead Curling Club. Ryan Berg, Tim Hodick, Josh Moore, Randy Askew, and Ethan Sampson.
All right, there you go.
I know some of those guys.
Yeah,
Congrats.
there you go. Good job. You guys.
And they're going to play against Canada
Oh yeah.
in September at the Rock Creek Curling Club for the Everest North American Curling Championship.
Oh, there you go. I wasn't even aware that had a
which
location.
will be broadcast on CBS Sports.
Yes.
Cool.
So the men's and the women's will play against the Canadian Club Championship
Yep.
teams
Yeah. I don't know how long.
from Canada.
How long has Canada had their club championship?
A while.
A while.
Yeah, I think so.
They steal that from
Just
us.
not.
Yes, let's say they did.
I think they did. Yeah.
I think they did.
Yeah.
Thieves.
Yeah, we still.
They
see
act all polite and shit, but
Nice.
They give us.
I mean, wasn't
they give us nickel
let's
back
be
and
honest,
we give them club
the
championships.
Briar and the Scotties were kind of club championships for a long time, weren't they?
that's true. So is the U.S.
And
national championship,
so,
but the Briar's been around a lot longer than the U.S. championships.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
you know, the Scotties is not that old actually. It's like in the 70s that it started.
All right. How long do we think the U.S. club championship has been around?
Ooh, that's been about
Mid 2000s.
02, 03,
Early
04,
2000s?
somewhere
Okay.
in that ballpark.
Alright.
Whenever they started banning non-citizens from playing
Yeah.
Mm.
in
sound-
playdowns. So
That sounds like 02, 03.
yeah, right in
Okay.
that ballpark. The
Okay.
first one was in Portage, Wisconsin, I remember.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool.
Yeah. Also, Team Falco won mixed fours. Dave Falco, Becca Wood, Lance Wheeler, Claire Morris.
I'd like to give a shout out to Lance and Claire because they let me stay at their house a couple weeks ago on my way to Colorado. And they took me
And the
to an amazing burrito place, the same one Ty recommended.
Yeah.
My kids won't shut up about it. And like it was that good though. I mean, like it was amazing. It was really good.
They recommend. We were out there for a open spiel and had a great time.
Bonfire burrito is what it's called.
Bonfire burritos.
Yeah, in case anybody from Bonfire's listening, you know, we
Sponsor
could
the show.
sponsor
Yeah.
the show. 'Cause we're hyping you up
Or just
multiple
mail some
times.
burritos.
We didn't make it to Bonfire. I feel like this is a life regret now. I'm gonna have to go
You
back
shoulda
out
gone.
to Denver to get to some Bonfire. I did send a message to Claire and Lance. I said congratulations on the ship. I said second best win for them this year, behind the Tuesday night trivia win that we had with Lance and Claire while we were out at the Bonspiel.
Nice.
And I was just laughed at, which is probably the appropriate response.
Ha.
Hardy
So,
har.
congratulations to them.
They're going to Worlds in the fall.
Lost to-
I did not see where they're going.
Lost to Dave
Aberdeen,
Aberdeen?
There you go.
That's where it
Aberdeen,
was.
Scotland.
Wasn't that where it was last year?
Yes.
Is there again?
Yes.
Oh. Well, there you go. That sounds like fun.
I've been to Aberdeen once.
We lost to Dave Falco in the open spiel in the A quarters.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, it was a good dude.
It was a good time
Great,
to lose too.
great,
Then you got all Sunday off.
Great conversation after the event. So, yeah.
I think I played against him in juniors back in about '92.
Really?
Yep.
Sure. Nice.
He was from out east back then, though,
All right.
not Colorado.
Congratulations to that team.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Next up, Glenn Howard retires.
Who?
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn.
I saw that.
Friend of the show, Glenn Howard.
Friend of the show. Check out season 2. I know the show.
Yeah.
I know the episode's called The
postponed.
Wild Card Experience.
Yeah.
That was a fun show.
I think it was season 2.
It was
We
a
had,
fun show. We heard all about his snowmobiling accident
Mhm.
where his son tried to kill him.
Snowmobiling accident. We learned about Wayne Madaw's skiing accident. We learned how to make a proper Caesar.
Them and playing the Briar.
Great show.
That was a good
Yeah,
one.
great
That was
show.
a
That was
a
dynamite
good
one.
You
might have been
you
the
curled
highlight
with
of
him
that
at
year.
the Lupus Spiel one year.
I did. I
didn't you?
carried him as far as we could, but we couldn't. Couldn't quite put it together in the end.
Maybe that's why he's retiring.
Yeah, maybe you
He
started the
feels
downhill
like he
slide.
didn't
Yeah.
achieve all that he could have.
They don't call me the bone anchor for nothing, Mike.
He won, what'd he win? Like 4 Briars? 3 Briars?
You have to go to the
We have to
4.
4. You
Yeah,
think?
He won 4. I can even
4?
name them off. 87, 94. No, 87, 93, 07, 2012. Won Worlds all 4 times.
Wow, that's pretty good. Andy won.
Look it up.
I'm working on it.
Andy, didn't he win?
Nailed it.
Didn't he win gold medal?
No.
No, that was Russ.
Russ won a gold medal in
Russ won.
2006 with Brad
Yeah.
Gushu.
The Goo
Yep.
and Jamie Korab.
What
What did you say?
87, 93, 07, 2012.
Boom. Those are his gold medals. How many?
For all of them. Well, yeah, that's all the times he won. The Briar.
How many more do you think he medaled in?
That's a big list you got there, Mike.
I know.
10.
Boom. Nailed it. Lucky guess.
It was between like 9 and 12.
Got
so
it.
I just picked a
Went-
number.
Yeah.
I'm not going to list them all off, but there's 10 others where he won
Like he lost a
Seven-
Olympic trials final as
seven-
well.
7 silvers, 3 bronze. Yep. Silver in a 2009 Canadian Olympic trials. And like you said, 4 worlds and all the times he won the Briar.
Yeah, I'll take another beer.
Way to go. Nice.
PB
So yeah,
Army
congratulations
ASAP.
to Glenn. I feel like
One
I
On
question.
I
a
would
pretty
like to
good
have
career.
run into him in person.
I got a
But
question for you guys. I thought of today. What do you think about the difference between the way that Glenn Howard retired and the way that Jennifer Jones retired? Because Jennifer Jones, both of them, Jones and Glenn, both very accomplished curlers.
yep.
Jones announced she was retiring from women's curling before the Scotties
Mhm.
and absorbed all the love. They did all the things on the TV and all that and lost the final. And the final was, I remember watching the final after Jones lost and Homan won. They were showing Homan like cheering and also going back to Jones like waving to the crowd.
Yeah.
And then showing Rachel and her team cheering, and then going back to Jones. I just thought that really took away from Holman's win.
Sure.
And Glenn he was at the Briar, didn't play because I thought didn't really play that much, if at all. But like he retired at the end of the season, not before the Briar started.
Yeah, I didn't read the whole thing that he put out today. I did see a tweet from somebody I follow on Twitter, Curl Hand Luke, which I think is a great Twitter handle.
Cool Hand Luke is a great movie.
It is a great movie. I'm gonna eat 50 eggs. But he said he ran into Glenn somewhere, and Glenn was kind enough to talk to him, and just I think Glenn still wants to curl, and just the physical nature of his whatever is going on. It sounds like his knee kind of is just gonna kind of. Dude, what is going on with those beers?
They're so excited to see
Greg.
me. they
Greg
can't contain themselves.
Craig has opened 2 beers during the show, and both of them have overflowed.
Did you shake them before
No,
you
I
handed
didn't
to
touch
me?
anything
You handed
with
them
your
to
beers.
me.
So anyway, So I think, and maybe I could be wrong that
You probably.
well, probably am wrong because I do that a lot. But I feel like maybe something came up recently, and yeah, it's the end of the season, and maybe the writing was on the wall, and he already knew the answer. But I think Glenn still would like to curl if he could, but my sense is he's received medical information at this point. It's just like we can't get your knee back to where
And
it needs to be or where you want it to be or whatever. And maybe that came recently. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe.
Hard to say. I didn't have a problem with the way Jennifer Jones did it. I don't know. Maybe it took away a little bit, but she's also an icon in the women's game. I mean, it's going to take away from. I guess it maybe took away from a few minutes of the celebration, but in the grand scheme of things, I really don't think Rachel Holman cares when she won the Scotties and then went on to win the Worlds. Like, who cares?
Meh.
I don't know. Just my take. Just my take. I don't have a problem with the way Jennifer Jones did it.
Meh.
Okay.
I get the way Glenn did it. So
I'd have gone Glenn's route if I was of the two, but at the same time, I can understand, and I don't really have a problem with it the way Jones did it either.
It seems like they can. It seems like a distraction, but they've been there enough times that they know how to play. Like Jones, it seems like they know how to play, know how to get themselves psyched up for games. So they didn't. This probably wasn't a distraction for them off the pitch, but
yeah.
Are we talking about soccer?
Yeah,
Or football?
The football.
a soccer player.
All right. Next up, the team botcher is now -1 botcher.
Yep.
One less botcher.
One less
One less
botcher on the team,
on Team Botcher.
which is now no longer team botcher.
Yeah, I mean the curling carousel has started
Just wound up today.
So
well, I mean the Team Botcher and the Glenn Howard thing today that dropped are big deals, but like Kurt Drummond stepping away from Team Sluchinski, who was at the Briar. I think there have been some other
Team Botcher
team
like
announcements.
number 4 in the world?
I think
yeah.
they might have been number
two
or three.
Like
behind Adina.
So
I
they're
think.
high up in the rankings of the world, leading up to the Olympic qualifier, and they just decide change up the
We're
schedule.
not good enough. Well, I read that press release. I read another article, and they just thought they needed a change. They thought that they didn't have the spark, whatever it was. They couldn't. They needed to get better to be able to beat Gushu, who's won 6 of the last 7 Briars that he's played in, I believe.
Sounds right.
That's a lot of Briars.
A lot of Briars.
Especially for somebody who it took seemingly forever to win his first.
True story. Yeah.
But
I agree. It's odd for the number 2 team in the world or wherever they are. I think it's number 2 in the world. I
Anyway,
think they were,
top ranked team.
whatever. Yeah. To break up, but like Rick said, if it's not there, like you can't just plow through that and try and win. So, but I think that the team carousel has started in Canada for sure, and it'll be interesting to see what the carousel is around here if there is one.
And Kui is a part of that shuffle up.
No,
We
I
don't
think,
know.
No, I don't. I think
No?
according to my wild speculation, he might be.
Oh,
Yeah, your wild speculation is.
Yeah.
I think my wild speculation is the man who's retired, I think twice, could come out of retirement one more time.
Jeff Stoughton.
Hart.
Johnny Mo
Johnny
gonna
Mo?
come back.
Oh,
So you think John
one
Morris
more ride with the boys.
I don't think.
I don't know. I mean,
could be?
Maybe.
who else do they get? I mean,
I think it's Jacobs
think
or
Jacobs.
Cooey. I think it's
or
Jacobs
Cooey?
or Cooey.
I think Cooey leaves the young kids.
I
They
think-
didn't have the greatest year this year, and
No,
he's
they
played
didn't.
with Ben and Mark for a long time, and Brent would be the new guy, but he seems to gel pretty well with Ben and Mark. So
Yeah, he's got like 4 or 5
he's
briars.
got a couple
knows
of
what's up,
briars.
too.
Yeah, he seems to be like a decent sweeper. So yeah, that would be an interesting team. I could see that. Who knows? I don't know. Hard to say.
I bet you that there's people who know, like
Ben and
Mark
Mark.
Kennedy and Ben Hebert and Brett Clant and Brendan Botcher probably already has a team. But
Who knows?
this was all released today,
Yeah.
But they probably
and
said
we
it
don't
for a
know
while.
the
We
information.
could talk to hashtag XOXO Gossip Curl. John Cullen seems to have
We should get that guy back on the show. I was going to say clown.
You were going to
Yeah.
say
I was
clown.
gonna say clown. He's not a clown.
Not a clown.
We
I
should
like
get that guy back
I
on
like
the
John
show,
quite a
though.
bit.
Yeah.
It's an interesting situation though, where
Usually we don't get this much shakeup in right in the middle of a quad.
yes, I would agree.
Especially for the top
mid
teams.
quad, like this
Mid-quad
is something
top
that would
teams.
have more likely happened last year,
Yes.
and this is a big, huge move that's going to affect probably 3 or 4 teams that are in the top 20 in the world.
Now, did Botcher's team win any points going to the trials yet, or is that start next year?
I don't know how the trials part works, but that
Yeah.
team is in the Briar next year.
Yeah, but now those points follow the 3 that are left.
Correct. They follow
The
the
majority
3 out of 4 instead of
of the one.
the one who had his name on that team.
Do we know how? Say they went 2-2. Does that just
No
negate
idea.
all the points?
No idea.
I don't think they get any of them if they go 2
If they
and
go
2.
2-2.
I don't think, but I'm not sure about that.
Hmm.
There was a whole big kerfuffle about that several years ago with team rankings and carrying over points, and because they used to have a multi-year carryover points, and then teams would get into slams all of a sudden that had never played together, because you'd get 3 or 4 people who'd never been on a team before with each other, and they had
And they win
enough
points.
points individually from their previous teams, and I think there was a team, I can't remember who it might have been, that basically had maybe 1/3 and 3 front enders from other teams, and they all joined one team, and they had enough points to get into slams, even though they didn't have anybody who'd ever skipped in a slam before. So that was when that whole they started revamping that, and I think that maybe they took it so now if you're only 2, you don't carry any
anything.
Got it.
points.
Yeah. All right.
That was a long time ago, though. I was old.
Yeah.
I'm old. I am still old.
I don't
get
know.
older
there,
every day.
I don't know if there will be a bigger team shuffle up, but that I guarantee that's not the end of team shuffle ups
No.
as the season winds down. Season's done, isn't it? So the last slam hammer is
Mixed worlds are starting this weekend, coming up.
mixed doubles
Mixed doubles
worlds,
Mixed doubles
right?
worlds.
Yeah.
After
And is that the
the
last thing?
season's
Is there-
officially done. Yeah.
Did the Champions Cup?
No, that doesn't
is
happen anymore.
That
That's
doesn't
done.
happen anymore. That was dumb. Okay, it's done.
Let's talk about men's world championship.
There's men's
Ooh, we
worlds.
could do that. Yep.
This young kid out of Sweden seems like he's doing well.
Seems like he's got the right stuff, doesn't
Yeah.
King Nicholas.
King.
How many is that? 5 world
he?
championships?
No, it was 6 or 7.
6? Holy. Let's look at the. I'll look at the Wikipedia again.
It might have been
You guys
7.
talk amongst yourselves. That might be
Which
right.
is insane if it's actually either way it's insane. But I bought it. I bought the
bought the
the
package?
the package.
Yeah.
It was I don't know, $20.
Not too bad.
And I think it was $20 well spent, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was excellent curling. I didn't think that anything could. I'm not sure if I was going to say go quite that far. It was going to be really, really hard to top the entertainment value and the excellence that was shown at the women's championship. And this might have done it. And I was not expecting it to happen. But, like, that was just top-notch curling. And that shot to win.
7 championships for Nicholas.
Seven
championships?
world
Yep.
championships.
Yep.
What year was his first one?
2013 Victoria, 15 Halifax, 18 Vegas, 19 Lethbridge, 21 Calgary, 22 Las Vegas. Again, Las Vegas, good town for King Nicholas, and 2024 Schaffhausen.
Schaffhausen.
That's how Matt was pronouncing it on his radio show.
No, that's right. Schaffhausen.
Schaffhausen.
It's right on the Swiss-German border.
Cool.
Um,
He had a guy on. There's a guy in Schaffhausen that had a sports bar that flew in some Coors Light just for Team USA. Jay's Sports Bar, I think it was called.
nice.
Yep. Apparently put it in the cooler to get it cold, and maybe left a couple in the cooler a little too long.
Freezer.
The freezer, yeah. Yeah. So the mountains.
that was nice of
Mountains very blue, according to Jay.
Nice of him to. That shot to win the game, though. Like,
Come around.
they played. So Canada played I think
Spoiler alert: Sweden won.
Sweden won. Spoiler alert. Yeah, we haven't ruined that several minutes ago. So when Walker threw he threw a bad guard. He threw one good one, and then he was supposed to throw a high one, and he basically like froze to it.
Yeah.
But they were on the center line, so they couldn't be peeled. And when he let that go, this was oddly reminiscent. I'm gonna go on the Wayback Machine here.
All right. Back in my day.
This is oddly reminiscent of the 2009 World Championship final when Kevin Martin threw his rock away.
Oh,
that
gosh.
game.
Oh, man.
But so in that end, Scotland made a bunch of almost shots. And they made it look like I should play this instead of the peel.
Yeah.
And as soon as Walker threw that, I thought, well, they can't hit it this time. Maybe this is going to turn out the same way, where this is going to be kind of a...
They're both not going to play it.
Sweden's going to get
late.
a little bit like, well, we can always make this double. But like, this looks a little better right now. And then one shot later, this looks a little better right now. I should probably play this one on this one. I can peel next. I can make the double peel next time. And all of a sudden, it just got to be too late. And Gushu made his last shot as good as he possibly could. Maybe he could have rolled one more inch.
Yeah.
But Adine had to go out in the frickin' weeds, in the frost, and, like, I mean, he's won 7 world championships now. He obviously knows what he's doing. But
As do his
sweepers.
know how to play the frost and know, like...
But that was still a guess
Yeah.
Yeah,
by the sweepers and the shooter.
sure.
Both. And at the hog line, I ruined it for my family. I said, "Oh, he made it," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "He's gonna make this."
He's going to make this.
And they're like,
Yeah.
the family's like sitting on the edge of the couch, like,
Were you
"It's
watching-
going too far. It's
What
not
time-
gonna curl enough."
What time was it live? I don't remember. Did you watch it? Were
We
you
did not
watching
watch it
You
live.
were
We
watching
watched it
replay.
on delay.
Here in Central Time, it was like
Yeah, it would have been wicked early, wouldn't it?
It was.
It wasn't that early, but it was.
It was
earlier than your
It would have
entire
been
family
done
was
by
going to
like
get up to watch
5
curling.
a.m.
No.
up here.
No. They didn't start until they started in mid-afternoon Europe.
Whatever. Anyway,
Anyways,
regardless.
it was a morning game. It was 7 or 8 a.m. start, I
Okay.
think.
Earlier than your family was going to get up and watch.
We just said we had shit going on.
Yeah.
So we watched it on delay. I didn't touch my phone all day because I didn't want
Look at
to
you.
find out the results.
Look at you.
And so yeah, we watched it at like dinner time,
Nice.
and they're like,
You're right.
"What? It's not gonna curl enough. It's hanging out. It's going too far."
Yeah.
I'm like, they got it,
No, made it.
and like it was when Rasmus, I believe. By the way, that guy curled dynamite. Holy shit, you guys! If you didn't have the package and you didn't watch like all week, that guy was the MVP of the.
Oh yeah,
Of the spiel.
Team Sweden.
I
Of
paid
the
for
spiel.
I paid to watch the final. Paid my $2.
Mhm.
I still don't know how to watch it. Like it still said like waiting to subscribe. Like I couldn't watch it. So
Oh,
Huh.
bummer.
so I'm gonna
Too bad.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch
Lame.
it. Like
Maybe
Right.
I'll give you my login. We just won't tell Bo Welling that I'm.
Won't tell Bo Welling.
you
Got
giving
it.
you
tell
my
Paul
login.
Welling to fix that crap. It wasn't working.
Anyways, it was fantastic curling. Like most of the week, not just
Yeah,
the playoffs, but the playoffs were
similar.
very good.
Great.
And you know, I kind of gave a lot of shit to these Italian guys, thinking they're
Last
just
year for sure you did.
last year for sure I did, and even at the Europeans, I think I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, they're the fourth best team in Europe. You know, I
Yeah.
think that's. They're better than I was
They're-
giving them
they're
credit
good.
for. They're solid.
They
man.
pulled out of Browns.
They did, and
I've-
they're good. Like I watched
Feel
them.
like I might be partially to blame for that. A couple years ago, Joel Retornaz was at Lupus Spiel, and he had to play against myself and Mason, our show sponsor Mason, and Dave Solheim and Mike Harris, and he needed all the rocks to beat us. But like after that win, he's been on a nothing but a hot streak.
Yeah,
So I feel like we're probably partially to blame that we made a lot of good shots, but he made just enough other good shots. So sorry, world, that we did that.
That's what you get when you come
I
up
got that's
against some
when you-
professional charity spielers. Like that's what happens, you know.
Yeah, it might be our fault. That-
no, they were good. They're good. They're better than I thought. I think the Swiss guys are going to be the most disappointed with their week because they were at home and they
Sure. Yeah.
They make the playoffs.
they did not.
Did not
No,
make the playoffs.
they blew a game that they should have won, and they had a couple others that they're going to say they should have won. Not sure if that's really the case.
I think
but,
the important thing out of
um,
both worlds is both of our teams did well enough that we're in the Olympics, right?
no, not yet. But
Oh, not
we're
yet? Oh,
we're
I
in
thought
pretty
we were-
good shape.
We're in good shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we're
The men are
Next.
the guys made the playoffs.
guys made the playoffs,
Yeah.
The women were
just
just
like I
out.
predicted on Wednesday.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
I said if
Well,
they
you
win
said
their
it.
games,
You
they're
said
in.
it was possible. Yeah.
I was confident.
Yeah.
You said if they win there.
The women were just out, so they got points, but not
Got it.
quite now.
Not quite.
Yeah. So they're both in a lot better shape than they could be
Okay. Great.
to
Got
get
it.
us in the Olympics.
All right.
They're not. Nobody's guaranteed yet, but
Nobody has avoided the play-in event yet. Officially. Right?
no, officially nobody has. But I would say anybody who made the semis in either of these events is pretty much a lock.
Got it. Okay.
And the
They have
5th,
to-
6th, 7th teams are all in
I thought
Yeah.
pretty good
pretty
shape.
good shape.
Top
Okay.
teams would
I
have
thought
to
somebody
tank
had.
pretty
I thought
hard.
somebody had told me that if the men made the playoffs, they were basically in, like they would avoid the play-in event.
Nah,
But
not
that's
guaranteed.
not true. Okay. Whatever. Regardless. Okay.
That would require research. Which
They would have.
You know what else happened?
Yeah, what?
I won a Bonspiel.
You know what else happened? Chris Plies won the Mr. Nice Guy Award
He did.
at the Worlds. He won the
What's
Sportsmanship
what's the
Award.
official name of
Collie
that?
Campbell Memorial Award.
I believe it's Coley. I
Col-
think
Coley?
I think they call
Coley
it. I think
Campbell?
they
Col-
call it
Col-
Coley.
Coley?
Coley
Okay.
Campbell. Coley Campbell. Collie.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I think it's Coley.
Coley.
I think it's pronounced Coley. I'm not sure. It
Because
should
it's
be.
Scottish.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Coley
Yeah,
Campbell.
he won the Coley Campbell Award, which is voted on by the players.
Yeah.
So
We could ask.
First
Good for him.
American winner since 1985. Anybody name that player?
I know.
well, it's not Don Barker.
I know.
Oh, you know.
I think I know. Pretty sure I know.
The Twitter might have told
Oh,
you.
1985. That would have. Was that your dad's team?
Nope.
Uh,
Somebody you know, though.
It is somebody you know.
Was that Pusty's team?
Nope.
No.
Oh,
Tim Wright.
Tim Wright. Yep.
Tim Wright. Yeah.
Yep. But I only
played
know
with-
that because Tim Wright sent Chris Plies like a weird tweet, like something like "Welcome to the club" or "Never have to buy a beer again" or something to that effect.
Kind of like that.
Was the message.
Yeah, it's great.
Pretty cool.
Good honor. I don't know what
played-
happened to Chris because he used to be a jerk. Now all of a sudden he's a nice guy.
no,
Like,
suddenly
I
Mr.
don't
Nice
know.
Guy.
I mean, friend of the show, Chris Blythe,
Yeah.
used to be a dickhead. I mean,
You win one junior world championship, and all of a sudden your head gets big, and
my son, by the way, speaking of his Chris Blythe's head,
Yep.
my son saw him on TV and said,
Saw Chris.
well, that haircut looks stupid.
I would agree with your son.
Chris shaved his
I
head.
wasn't-
I don't know. I
wasn't
thought
sure
he
why he
looked
did that.
fine,
What
but
did he-
he also had the flowing locks.
You know,
if I had hair like
he's
his,
got
I
good
probably would have let it
He's
go.
got good lettuce, man. I don't know why you go and cut your hair like that. Maybe it was for a good cause or something. Hopefully, there's a story to it or something.
Well, maybe we'll
maybe
get him back on.
lost
Find
a
out.
bet or something.
Find out.
don't
We'll
know.
find out at some point. Chris does weird things from time to time as well, so maybe it was just that.
Maybe
So
not.
was his brother.
That's also true.
Maybe
Fact.
Matt's hair was getting too long, so he had to cut his to balance everything out.
I disagree. Watching the hockey playoffs,
Collins is
I don't-
very short though.
Yeah.
So
Collins is very short. He
Yeah.
brought the length down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the collective team length
Lance
down pretty
Steiner's got some short hair, and Schusty doesn't have very long hair.
Shusey
so-
doesn't have much hair
Doesn't have much hair in general. Yeah.
underneath that hat.
Yeah.
He's getting a little thin up there.
That's fine. All right. Anyway.
Up next, I'm going to 500 Nationals to stream that next week. So
There you go.
Chaska, Minnesota.
Chaska, Minnesota.
Yep.
So check out the stream on probably USCA's the USAC's YouTube page.
There you go. YouTube. All right. I'll probably tune in
USAC,
a little
correct?
bit.
So
Yes.
USA curling. What?
USAC.
USA curling.
Do we break your brain?
No, yeah, you did break my brain for a second there. You want to know something interesting about the Chaska Curling Club?
Yes.
No.
And all right, Joel doesn't want to know. Forget it.
All right. Is Ike still the manager there?
Ike is the manager.
the
He's one of my
Hey,
favorite
yeah,
dudes.
yeah.
I'm going to tell this interesting fact, anyways. When you're
Great.
in
Just tell it
Chaska,
to me,
if you look at
not
the
Joel.
buildings, all the brick buildings,
Yeah.
they're this really lightish, yellowish, palish, brick.
Yeah.
It's all quarried right there in
Oh.
Chaska, or right
There you
in
go.
right in that
It's like
small region, and like even in like the cities, they use all the brick buildings even have a different color tint.
it's
to
like
them.
it's like Milwaukee. That's why Milwaukee's called the Cream City. You know that, right?
I did not. I thought it was because of beer.
No, it's
that?
the light colored brick that that all the buildings are made of.
I did
Cream,
not know
Cream
that.
City brick.
It's
So,
also Algonquin for the good land.
yeah.
Good life.
Milwaukee is So
Isn't it the good life?
no, it's the good land.
was the good-
well, it
good
might be
land.
the good life in reality, but
According
the
to Alice
line
Cooper.
from
The movie is The
Wayne's
Good
World-
Land?
The
Yeah.
Good Land.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it was
it's
the good
Algonquin.
life.
No, it's Algonquin for the good land.
Huh.
That's
Okay.
what Alice Cooper said that.
Yeah,
so it
no,
has
I
to be
remember the
true.
line.
Yeah.
I just thought that he said the good life, not
No,
the
I
good
think it's
land.
the good land.
Yep.
So
Anyway, good luck to all the teams at 500s.
Yep.
I'll see you up there next week.
cool. Is that it?
That's
Can
all
we
I
talk
got.
to Jared now?
Yep. Let's
All
get
right.
to Jared.
Cool. All right, we got a great guest today. He is a curler. I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of his other highlights. He's a 4-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. He's two-time NFL sacks leader, among probably a myriad of other accomplishments. He's been to nationals twice, I think 2 times that you've been to nationals. 3 times.
3 times.
3-time national participant. Welcome to the show, number 69 in your programs.
Actually, 4.
Number 1
Actually,
on the
4
show.
4 times.
Jared Allen, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, I've actually done
4 nationals?
4.
Okay. That's
Yeah, I actually have a silver medal as my second year in curling. Actually, first year in curling, really. I got a silver medal at national being the alternate for Team Runen.
awesome.
So that was I actually didn't think they actually gave alternate medals, and they do. Turns out you can just be on a good team and never do anything good, and be rewarded for it.
I need to figure that out.
Curling
I need to
is
get
my
on
sport.
Team Schuster or something, or DraftKings. Somebody needs a 5th to look good, and
Well, it's not you.
Oh, I can,
No,
I
that's
can
not
carry
me.
a bag with that stuff in. Yep.
no problem. Well, thank you for joining us. Let's see, where shall we start? Your curling journey has probably been atypical of most of ours. How for those less knowledgeable, how did you get into curling after your
Honestly,
career?
so I took a bet from a buddy of mine to make a PGA Tour event like a few years after I retired. Unfortunately, my golf game wasn't improving as fast as it needed to. And then we were sitting around the house by the fire pit, and he was pretty inebriated, and so I took full advantage, as someone should if someone else that is inebriated, and I parlayed the bet into making the Olympics. And I just watched Eddie the Eagle, so I was like, dude, this is so simple. I'm just gonna find something we're not that good at
Such a good
and
movie.
participate in that. So I started looking at like our medal count, right? And I'm like, okay, well, somewhere I was like badminton, that's where it's at. Like I'm 6'6", I am rangy, I can smash the shuttlecock, right? And
And this is
so
about what year is this?
this was like the second or third year I was retired. So this is like 2000. Well, I retired in 16, so this is like 2017, right?
17.
Okay,
17 is like so a
Got
year
it.
after I
17.
retired.
Got it.
Yeah, about a year after I retired. And so, I was like all in on that. We ended up moving to Nashville, and Randa Bolger, we were at the same golf club, and my wife was like, "Oh, you should do it with a friend, someone you know." And so we started watching badminton videos. I'm like, "Oh wow, this looks like I'm gonna pull something. Like this is gonna hurt." Like, I mean, these people, they were serious about it. I was like, "All right, well, maybe that's not the road." And I was like, "Well, we got 4 years in curling. We'd only won a bronze at the time." I'm like, "Oh, it's fantastic, curling." It's like most people start when they're 40. The losers or the winners buy the losers beer. I was like, this is great. And then I got a random call from like John Benton to coach. I started getting the wheels in motion, started putting a team together of just some ex-NFL players I knew out here. And next thing you know, we got a coach. Next thing you know, I called someone down at the Predators, and we got hockey ice. We got practice, curling ice they set up, well, even call it curling ice. They set up two houses on the bad side of a Zamboni line, and we just started throwing around. And then we started coming down to Four Seasons like once a week, or maybe a couple times a month, doing weekends there, practicing with Richie. Like Rich, that's how I met Richie and Jason Smitty and them. So we'd come in and we'd practice, and against Todd, Burr and all those guys.
Yeah.
And I think people saw we just threw ourselves in the deep end. My very first match, it was up in Evelyn, and I played Schuster. My very first match.
There you go.
So I was like, this makes no sense. But yeah, so that's just what we did. I was like, well, I'll either drown or swim, and just kept working. And my philosophy as an athlete, especially football, we always had to learn new things in short amount of time, right? So it's like from the physical standpoint, I'm like, I can learn the physical. I'll learn how to slide, I'll learn how to throw a rock. And then, so, trying to circumnavigate that mental edge that guys have had for playing 20, 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
That's how we ended up teaming up with Jason. We invited Jason to come on to skip for us, because me skipping was not ideal when Fort Novice people.
Got it. Yeah.
That was a rough start for us. But like I said, we just went out there and just took our lumps day in and day out. but I got invited to I played pretty well, considering, being brand new to the sport. And so, Pete Annis and them invited me to come up to Nationals as an alternate with Richie just so I could learn. And Mike went up with Team Burr, and luckily those guys were blowing everybody out that year. So I ended up playing like a total of like 9 ends at
Hey,
Nationals. Like,
there you go.
yeah,
It's
I got
9
some
more ends
serious
than I've ever
time.
played at Nationals. Way to
Um,
go.
Yeah,
yeah,
same here.
and then and then we practiced, and then so Mike and I they had the club right next door in Kalamazoo, so we just threw rocks all day, every day. Yeah, I fell in love with it. I'm one of those guys that once I'm down the rabbit hole, I'm all in. And so just then started doing the whole trying to put the right team together, making sure practicing. I've worked with Pete Annis, I've worked with obviously John was our first coach, and then Jason came on board, and then I worked with Dave Jensen a lot on technical stuff. We had uh oh goodness, I'm going blank on the name. Tim, came and played with us down at Challenge Rounds one year, and
Okay.
my dog's in here.
No
And
worries.
then Tim coached us a little last. So it's been fun to get to know the whole core of people in the curling world. Has been very accepting and very open, and I think part of it is they see how hard person that I've worked at it, and it never feels a gimmick for me. And so we try to go in and then we were able to win some games. And then next thing you know, you're like, we had people drop off. Keith, Mike had a baby. Boulder opened up T line. So next thing you know, it was just Smitty and I, and we've been trying to plug holes and figure out how we can get to that next level of greatness and actually podium at nationals. So
There you go. Nice. I like that. That you kind of answered one of the questions. I was kicking around a question before the show. It was like, has there ever been a time, and like you just put it, you didn't want it to be, you didn't want to feel like a gimmick out there. I was going to ask if there was ever a time that you felt like, felt out of place or anything.
no, I mean, again, like, you're trying to, I mean, I'll use whatever leverage I can to accomplish whatever I need to, but,
Sure.
I want to do it in a respectful manner for all this. So my biggest concern was more of making sure that, the people in the curling world knew that, we weren't out there just to try to goof around. I said, I think people saw that with the amount of time, energy, and resources we put towards the sport. And no, I am so far in the hole on curling. It's not even funny. Like, everybody says, "Oh, now you're a real curler."
Join all of us. Yeah, we're all in the hole for curling. Craig, definitely. Craig just gives me the nod. Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
Yeah, welcome to real life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I think so that was my goal is really to go out and earn the respect of everybody and really kind of have them look at me as a peer on the curling world and not so much as like, oh, here's a guy from the NFL that is coming in and gets to come do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I think that right away there was a little skepticism that it was gonna be a little bit of a gimmick, but I think that was very quickly washed out in everybody's mind, whoever saw you out there, or even just like heard the kind of the regimen that you guys were going under, and it was very quick that wasn't the case, or nobody thought that that I ever talked to. So
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you have what probably most curlers. Well, maybe you don't have as much as I think. Free time, which is good for practicing and being able to participate,
Yes.
and then you probably have more disposable income than a lot of us.
I don't know. I'm in a couple like freaking quantum physics. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah.
what's one of the guys from team? I don't know but he's what is he? He's like a biochem. He has like a PhD in biochemistry.
One of the Dunham, somebody on Team Dunham, I think, is
Yeah,
pretty
Eric
wicked smart.
Colbert
I think Lance
Yeah.
Wheeler's pretty smart.
there's a bunch of them.
there's a lot of smart people in the curling world.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And then it goes out. There's like the biotech engineer, and then there's like the video game tester. Like the pendulum just
Dude, sign me up. I'll be a video game tester. I'm terrible at video games, but I would do that. What have you been able to take from your NFL career and parlay into your curling career, so to speak? Outside, I mean,
Oh,
obviously, to get where you got in the NFL, you had to have just massive work ethic.
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's the mental side of things of, again, from the physical, it's learning a skill set quickly.
Mhm.
Understanding, muscle memory, learning to slide, being able to adjust. And I'm very big on technique. I'm a very mechanical type person when it comes to like even, with football, it was technique, because I always believe good technique will last longer than those guys that have just a fluke season or just even athleticism.
Sure.
So from being a technician standpoint, I was able to carry that over. That's why I love working with Dave Jensen, because he's very technical in his slide and very technical in his releases. And so I think I also take the mindset of, you have to be confident but humble. I'm obviously confident in my ability. I know I can learn something. I'm never going to be the worst, but you also
Sure.
have to be humble enough to learn, be coachable. And so I try to absorb as much information as I can and apply that skill set. Um, and then just, I think it's just that mental edge of being able to, which I actually learned that I have to be careful what I say on the ice sometimes, because I'll talk so bad about myself, right? That's how I motivate myself. I'm like,
Sure.
oh, you suck. Like,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, I'll be talking about the shot. But once I get in the hack for the next shot, it's just focus on the next one. It's the next rock, then sweep the rest of them. But you have been on teams where guys get, they get a little like, hey, dude, let's keep positive. I'm like, shut up, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
So I think that was more so just from a mindset standpoint. And then just, again, I liken curling to like your short game of golf, right? Like you gotta have finesse and touch, and you have to be able, I think one thing is from being able to go, sweep end to end and then come back and just, get your breathing under control, calm your nerves, or just lower that adrenaline level
Yeah.
and make a draw, do something like that. That's beneficial. So I try to hone in on those, but then other than that, I try not to overthink it. I just try to go out there and like, especially when I started playing lead, Pete Anna said it best, just lob it down there.
Oh, that's my line.
Lob it down there.
That's my line. He took that from me. I used to play with Pete, and I told him, I said, listen, man, all you got to do is just lob it down there. And
Yeah.
I said it to him probably 100 times. And so I'm gonna take credit for that line.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
What
So, just one thing.
yeah,
quick.
go take time. Go ahead.
I could see how other people on the ice could take a man of your size saying you suck.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Might get a little put off.
there's some
that,
little
so.
fellas out there. We're scared.
Well, I never lied.
Craig's a little fella.
My first few years, I took full advantage of playing stupid. I would stand and keep those lines like, Jared, you can't do that. Oh, okay, yeah. Like accidentally sweeping rock behind the line, and I was supposed to. I can't remember who it was. I first grade. I went for a rock somewhere, and they were going for it, and I just shouldered them and went down. They're like, oh, Jerry, that's actually they got. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, now that I've been playing a while, people are like, now they realize I'm being a jerk now, and so I can't really get away with the whole like, walking in front of somebody after they throw, all that good stuff.
Got it.
But I do tell you what, I'm probably giving away my secret, but especially if a shot matters, I try to stand whichever turn they're throwing. I try to stand right there on the hog line and get as big as possible and just stare, just grimace into their eyes.
Well,
There you go.
yeah. Well, that one you didn't come up with. That's been going on for years.
Yeah.
You probably don't remember this, but I think I only played you maybe once. I know I played
Yeah,
you once,
Cleveland.
maybe twice in Cleveland, and I remember we bumped into each other in the hack, and then it wasn't even like or not in the hack, in the house. It wasn't even like a bump. It was just we sort of ran into each other, and I stopped for a second, and I said something. I don't even know if you actually heard it, but I said, "What, do you want to fight?" or something.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
As you're, a solid foot taller than me and 100 pounds heavier, and could snap me in two before you even the rocks got kicked to the corners. But
Hey man, do you want to fight?
I have not curled against Jared yet. We were at the same spiel one time. We were at the Rice Lake Summer Spiel.
Mm-hmm.
That was
That
probably
was my first spiel.
that was your
that was
first
my very
spiel.
first one.
There you go. Yeah,
Yep.
you were.
That was
With,
our very first one.
you were
That,
with.
that's a hell of a good spiel for your first one.
I think you were with
We were
Mike,
with Bulger,
and
Ruth, and Bullock. Yeah, and then I got.
were you all
like,
there that weekend? I can't
Yeah.
remember if you were. I
Yep.
felt like maybe there was just 3 of you, but maybe you were all there. But yeah,
Yeah. Unfortunately, I got the flu. We brought a tour bus, and we were sleeping on the tour bus. And I mean, after the first game, what sucked because we would have won our first game. I thought we were playing 10 ends. I didn't know. I just always assumed everything was 10 ends because
Got
I was John was like encouraging us to watch videos, so I was watching.
it's
I was
like old
watching
Briars or something.
World
the
of
Olympic
Briar
trials and all
and
all the
stuff.
championship
Sure.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it was all 10
It's
ends.
all 10 ends,
And
so you get to race
I'll
like
never
8
forget.
ends. Yeah.
I'll never forget. I think we didn't have a hammer, but we were sitting good and John's like that. And so my last rock, I just belted the dude out and I just left it wide open. He hit me for one. And I was like, all right, forced. And the game was
Yeah.
over. And I was like, oh.
Well, oh man.
Well,
I just remember like we didn't. I don't think we interacted because we didn't curl against you. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be the guy like, oh, hey, I'm curler and you're a pro football player. It's like, but I was a little juiced up, we'll say, on Saturday night, and I came out. You guys were curling, and I like had a jersey on that was about 8 sizes too small. And I was like, hey, Jared. I like tried to flex on you. I was like, the waves are about this high, man. I'm like, ice is that way, like flexing on Jared. He's just like, just shook his head like he should have. It was pretty good. It was nice.
yeah, that was a bit, dude. That bus broke down about 8 times on the way home too. I was like, Mark ran this bus. It was like the bad news bears are curling.
That
Nice.
sucks.
Did you leave the bus in the parking lot at the club?
No, we actually we parked it at
Okay,
the hotel so the drivers could sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember like Keith and Mark were out. They might as well still have been drunk the next day. I was like shivering from the fever. I was just like, why are we here? I'm in Rice Lake. Just let it go.
Got it. Yep. So yeah, we've you beat Craig up
But
once.
remember correctly, I think they
and,
did T-bone steaks for us under the tent on Sunday or Saturday. One of those
Yeah.
days.
Saturday was
Always have
T-bone
steaks.
steaks on
Saturday
the,
was the
on the
steaks.
outside. Yeah, I grilled my fair share of steaks for people that didn't know how to.
Yeah, if
They're
the
like,
wind's
"Will you?"
blown right, it smells like shit.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's a good spiel.
I was not there
Where do
that
you
year.
live these days?
I'm in Nashville.
You're in Nashville.
Yeah,
And you said you're moving. Are you just moving to a different place in
just
Nashville?
down the road. Yeah,
Got
we've been building a house, and it's just the joys. Oh, the joys.
False. Building.
I
houses
think I just
terrible.
love misery because I was like, for someone who hates moving, you always want to move. I'm like, yeah, it's just embrace the suck.
Do you practice at the T line then, or where do you
I
practice?
do,
your
yeah.
running?
I got to get back out. We're actually going to start. I gotta get back on the ice. Honestly, been so busy since we got back from nationals, and then trying to figure out what we're gonna do from team wise. So I was trying to take a break, and then we go to Tahoe for the summer. We got a nice little 2-sheeter up there, a little den, a little hole in the wall club that that throw rocks on all summer. So it's a fun deal.
There you go.
Are
Nice.
you building curling sheets into the new house, or is that? Or did the wife say
Well, I
no?
would have actually thought about that, but then I'm like, the city, they didn't want to approve it, all that crap. Because that counts as conditioned space,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This damn red tape always
Got
getting
it.
in the way.
Yeah. Got it.
Did look at it though. When we first started building, I was like, I'm just gonna build my own little sheet. But then it's like, the compressor. I haven't reached out to the dude who put in. He was doing like the the mats. I think with the Olympics in China, where they did those mats underneath there
Oh yeah.
versus like the full
The
phase
ISS system.
ISS is
Yeah, and so I
system
talked
guy
to
out
that
of
guy.
Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I talked to that guy, and he was willing to put something in. But then he's like, this is like good for 4 sheets, like minimum. I was like, so one that's not for one.
Nice.
Well,
But I don't need a 4-sheet club in my backyard. I just need one.
especially if you got a little 2-sheeter that you get to use whenever you want all summer, and
Yeah,
a
and then I
club
got T-line
nearby,
out.
so
Yep, and I got T-line, so I got the keys, or I just go in the morning. If they don't open till like 4 or for the public or 2 or something like that. So I usually just text the ice maker the night before, hey, I'm coming in at 8, and the ice is ready, and we go throw rocks for 2 or 3 hours, and that's it.
nice.
There you go.
Are any of the guys that you started with still playing?
So Boulder plays in his league. Boulder owns T Line, so he plays in the league. Roos had a kid, so no, and Keith no. But like George Kittle curls down here in Nashville.
Really?
And
Oh,
or
wow.
Andrew Hawkinson, is that how you say it, right? Hawkinson, the tight end.
Oh, T.J. Hawkinson?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, TJ. Oh, sorry, TJ.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy for the Lions?
Yeah, it used to be
Yeah.
for the Lions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Nice.
I probably shouldn't have called him Andrew, but his phone came up as Andrew, so I said Andrew to him.
Cool.
When I
Nice.
talked to him today. But yeah,
No worries.
we're trying to put together. So, obviously, with the curling group, with us, acquiring the slams, NBC wants to come do some stuff down here. So we're trying to get Kittle and Hawkinson to, TJ to come curl with some of like Heber and probably, figure out like Schuster or Dropkin or something like that.
Some
So it'll be
of
fun.
the some of the personalities from the slam circuit. Do you wanna talk about your involvement in that? That just kind of came out earlier this week.
Last week.
Yeah,
last
we've
week.
been-
Yeah.
Last week? Yeah.
I've been working on it for a little bit. Like I said, I met Nick Sulsky through some mutual friends, and I knew it was with PointsBet. And I really started talking to him to just see like what PointsBet was doing in the U.S. as far as like sponsorship. Kind of telling him what we were doing. He had
So if
been
anybody
down.
doesn't know, Nick is the CEO of
CEO, correct?
CEO of the curling group.
Okay.
He
Of the
left,
curling group. Yeah.
He left.
And so, he
PointsBet.
loved T-Line and he loved Mark's concept, and he wanted to bring that up to Canada. And then we started talking about just curling. He's a big curling fan. And comes from a gaming background. And then, it was one of those things like, man, I wonder if we could get the Grand Slam of curling. And he had, relationships at Sportsnet and Rogers and stuff like that. So kind of started happening. Next thing you know, he put a team together, and our internal team was, myself, Nick, Kayam, Mike, and then Johnny Moe. And then, he put together a great advisory board people like, from Heber to I always forget Jennifer's last name.
Jones.
Yeah, Jennifer Jones, to the Italian, the guy who coaches the Italian team, to Gushu. I think he's involved on that. From business leaders all over the map. And really the scope and the variety and diversity of people he was able to put together that believed in it, right? And everybody was super excited because curling is one of those sports where when lightning's going to strike. It's one of the highest rated, sports, coming into the Winter Olympics and coming out of it.
Yeah.
How do you keep it that way? So that's kind of like the task we took on is, okay, how do we know when it's going to peak? Now we just got to keep it there. And, with all the push in niche sports right now, and especially the push in female athletics right now, curling really fits that mold. And I think curling is one of those unique sports where men and women compete pretty much on an equal playing field as far as ratings. Especially, and then they do a lot of obviously mixed, you have mixed fours, you have mixed doubles, all that stuff.
Sure.
So it's just one of those things where it kind of aligns. And then, you start seeing people from outside industries and, venture capital groups believing in it and seeing it like, oh, okay, this is definitely something. So it's like, all right, how do you educate the masses? How do we take what's already there? How do we take the base of curling and modernize it, right? How do we take curling to the next? How do we get the young kids interested in it? How do we tell the cool stories around? And I think that's what makes the Olympics, fun, right? Curling gets a jump, or every sport that you don't really get to see all the time in the Olympics gets a jump because they talk about the athletes. So people get to know the athletes, you get to hear their stories, and that draws people in. And so that's what we want to do. We really want to be player centric, but we also want to be, we want to be forward in innovation, obviously within the realm of curling, but from content production to better viewership, right, to TV rights. Curling is one of those sports that actually watches better on TV, which is fantastic because that's where the money's at.
Right.
But then so how do you take that and put that into a live setting to where someone can sit down who doesn't really know much about curling and maybe hear a live announcer or hear people talk about that sheet that they're watching in front of them. So those are all the kind of fun things we talk about. But at first and foremost, we wanted to, get the slams, protect the slams, because, those really are, it's like the majors of golf, right? And then turn those into events that are not only fantastic for the audience and the fan base, but more importantly, fantastic for the players. And really get teams, wanting to get there. And it's not like hopefully we win some money. It's actually lucrative for everybody to actually be a professional curler.
Great.
So is there a timeline for when, some of the new ideas are going to be kind of made public, or I don't
Yeah, I think as we go through, as we go through our capital raises and as we go through, different steps along the way, I think more things will become visible. But I mean, we really don't have any. I mean, we're pretty much status quo for the first year, right?
mm-hmm.
A lot of it's going to be, understanding we got, great partners with Rogers and Sportsnet up there. I know one thing, we do want to bring. It's funny. So when I talked to Nick, I was always like, hey, listen. U.S. curling, from what I understand, is going to do what Canada does, what Canada approves, right? Because the slams are very important for people down here. And he's laughing because he's like, well, there's a lot of clubs closing down up here and this, that, and the other, and everybody's geared and look at everybody up here wants to know what the Americans are doing. Like, what are they going to do? What are they into? Um, and so really it's like, okay, so why, instead of wondering what they're doing here and we're doing here, why don't we just, have this North American, new curling, sensation. So, we really do want to bring a slam to the United States. That's probably our first and foremost is trying to figure out the right venue and spot to bring a slam to the US, and getting all the right teams there. And then it's status quo for the first year at least. I mean, we obviously Rogers is still producing it. Obviously we're strategic partners are going to be crucial in what we do, and getting the trust of the players and getting the feedback of the players. I think we're at this junction point where curling is ready for change. To be. I mean, if cornhole can get put on TV and these guys can make money playing bags, I mean,
Right.
curling actually takes
Yeah.
more skill, you know. So and that's I'm a fan of cornhole, so I'm not bashing it. But I
I'm a
think it's
fan of
time to
Johnsonville
be-
sausages,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is a big sponsor of
And
cornhole.
That's
So.
what I
those
think-
baked beans. Baked beans are good.
There you go.
But yeah, like all these niche sports are, I think are starting to get gobbled up because like, football's locked up, basketball's locked up, baseball's locked up. But I think a lot of these larger production companies are looking at where can they sink their money into live sports, and it's
Well, that and you look at the loyal, like the demographic of these coaches, they're very loyal, right? So I used to be involved in the PBR. So I used to own bucking bulls and stuff like that, and I sit on some of their meetings, and the brand loyalty that their fan base has was ridiculous. I think it was something like 85% of somebody, the fan base would buy something specifically because it was advertised on the PBR, right? It was
Sure,
like,
sure.
gee, many crickets.
Yeah.
It's almost cult. And you look what pickleball is doing right now. Pickleball, I mean, is going through the roof because
Ugh.
why? Everybody feels
everybody
like they
can
can
do it.
pick up
Yeah.
a pickleball, right? And now you see these learner curls, like the upper T line. I mean, these learner curls, these companies are coming in droves, and people are falling in love with it. And then you got these modern, T lines, a more modern setting restaurant. That little bowling got this cool little Google stairs. Everybody can watch curling, this, that, and the other, can participate. Fun family event where now it's not like the sitting and chain smoking in the corner curling club where you're like, oh, should I bring my kid, should I not bring my kid? Listen, I'm a fan of both, but still, it's I think that's where
Yeah.
that's where you're seeing, okay, how do we attract this younger generation? And you see it in college sports, I mean, look at how many colleges are constantly revamping their weight rooms, their stadiums, their uniforms, because it's you got to have some sort of flash, and I hate to say that, to attract that younger generation. But if you don't attract the younger generation, then the sport dies. And I think curling is way too cool for that. And I think the numbers from the broadcasting standpoint prove it around the Olympics. So now it's our job to capture that and keep it.
Great. That's I think comforting to hear. That it's not just a one-off. Like we're gonna try and just overhaul the whole damn thing, and but like put some real time and commitment and energy into growing it all the way from top to bottom is I think that's what the curlers want to
Yeah, and I
hear.
can promise you, this is not we. I mean, we have a 5 year. We have phase one, phase two, phase three. I mean, it is very well thought. That's what is so intrigued when they asked me to be a part of the group, and I kind of work on like the engagement, especially from the engagement standpoint of trying to bring other athletes into the fold, right? Bring more notable people into the fold that enjoy curling, right? And then especially working with my connections in Minneapolis of, that Minneapolis technically should probably be the hub of USA curling, right? Just you have USA, I mean, you have USA curling there. It's a big metropolitan city. It's easy to get in and out of. So really trying to just, have some influence there and grow that and work on content. And then obviously, our next steps, we really want to find a really good, production USA
Media partner.
partner as far as
Yeah.
for TV and stuff like that. So
Got it.
yeah, we have a lot of layers of this, a lot of plans, and the cool part is it's the sphere that it's cast, and some of the big wigs that that we've already had meetings with, and that Nick and these guys know from other ventures, like Kyle, he was involved in bringing women's hockey, the women's hockey league to Canada, right? Like they've been in a lot of these guys have been in ventures that are 10 times bigger than this, right? And so they bring a scale and a knowledge, and from an equity standpoint, they bring a dollars and cents that you're kind of like, oh, these guys are used to working on $200-300 million deals, and you're like, hey, we're gonna raise 5 or 10 million. Like, done. You're like, wait, done? So that's what makes it cool. And they see the broader picture, and they see all the different lines of revenue that you can get. And like Nick said, one thing is that, which is going to be crucial for us, is data collection, right? I mean, because there's no real data on curling, and data drives gambling.
Data drives
Yeah.
everything now. Data
Sure.
Right,
drives
and that's
decisions
what I
you
mean.
make in
Yeah.
curling. Like you said, it drives gambling, which has become a big part of all the major sports.
And
And-
because that's what people are getting the revenue from, right? So now
sure.
that's a major revenue stream back to the players that
Yeah.
aren't allowed to gamble. I'm not a gambler, so
Right.
it works out well for me. But it's one of those things where, unless you know about it and you know the avenues to attack, that's money left on the table. So just from areas like that, and then areas from how to grow something, how to take an event, and make it centrally owned and be able to profit, or and how to I think one thing we want to focus on too is finding the right demographics in the right cities, right? Because when contests constantly move all over the place, you never get to develop a fan base year after year after year. You're constantly just repeating the same, you
Sure.
know, nonsense, but try to get that city engaged for one time, where let them enjoy the experience, let them want to come back, let them
Make it
let it
make it a
marinate.
destination thing where
Yeah.
people, oh yeah, we could go take a little mini weekend vacation and go see the slam, or we can go something like that.
As much as
Yeah.
I like being in 70-degree weather at the Dream the Dream
The American Dream Mall.
Mall in New
Yeah.
York City.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What a fucking
Got it.
God, the mall. God.
It's like, is that a pretzel vendor? Is that a pretzel vendor?
Yeah.
It's Wetzel's
Wetzel's-
pretzels, and it's amazing.
Wetzel's pretzels and a hot
I
chocolate.
tried to call a technical timeout, and the
Yeah.
head referee was over there, getting a Cinnabon.
Yeah.
Getting, a Cinnabon. Getting some ROs.
Yeah. I was upstairs doing the broadcast all week, so I spent way too much time in a fucking mall.
Yeah.
I never want to go
You
back there.
just smell the fry when you come in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the third floor was like down the hall from the food court, so we could smell stuff.
There you go.
But yeah, I think here in the U.S. with this, hopefully the Slam Tour is coming down, but curling here in the U.S. has all been run by volunteers. We've all volunteered the club, and
Yep.
we've all sunk our own money into our own curling, but also the club. So just the idea of raising money for a broadcaster, going out to find $5 million for anything in curling, just seems really bizarre and foreign to us. So I think we need, I think the U.S. needs a kind of a kick in the pants for that, or
Need to find something.
need to find.
Yeah.
Well, I'll never forget. I laughed. We were sitting at Evelith, and I was talking. I can't remember the name of the gentleman. I think it's Luke Violet's uncle at the time. He was doing something with USA Curling. He was head of their fundraising or whatever. And yes, we donated
Yeah.
like $500 or something like that. And he was super thankful. And I asked him what his year goal was to raise, and he said $75,000. And I chuckled, and I thought he was joking, and he was like, "No, I'm serious." And I was like, you're telling me USA Curling, his entire budget for the year is like $75,000?
For fundraising, it probably was.
Probably about
Yeah, and
that.
at the
Yeah.
time, and so I was like, wow, okay, you try to wrap your minds around that a little bit, and so but like I said, the more you see it, the more you fall in love with it. But that's the thing is, and I think that's what we're trying to change. The burden so long has actually been put on the curlers and the clubs,
Mm-hmm.
and people can only carry that burden for so long before it's just like, oh goodness,
We're
I'm
burned
done.
out.
People
Right?
get
That's why you
burned
see
out.
clubs
Yep.
not wanting to
Yeah.
host events. You see clubs not wanting to participate because it's not beneficial for them. And so what you end up in these really obscure areas, you know, which could be great clubs, great people, but that's not bringing visibility to the sport of curling.
Yeah, that's
Going
a
to
great.
Morris,
Yeah.
Manitoba is
Yeah.
not bringing, anything to the sport of curling,
Right,
except the
right.
curler's like, oh, it's a classic event, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's great, but unless unless you have production, unless you can get people there and you can get vendors there and you get sponsors there, if the cycle continues and everybody's just paying their own way and
Yeah.
really, I laughed when a couple of times people win an event and it's like, all right, I only lost 250 this week after hotel food.
Yeah,
Yep, we've
for
all been
sure.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, when you
That's
got
a- that's a
when
good-
you gotta like win the event, even at the higher level, not the highest level, obviously, but like those second tier spiels.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're not in the finals, you're probably losing money as a team, almost
Yeah.
weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even look at the points bets invitational, right? I think Carruthers won it for the second time, right? With that knockout, when today wasn't that knockout, right? You had to win. It was like,
Sure. Sounds.
it's
Right. Yeah.
but they just had it. It was, and they averaged. It was like, I think it was like a total of $1 million in prize money, however it was slotted. But you win, you advance. It was kind of like a playoff. I think that's what the point bet is, invitational. But I think Carruthers won it for the second year in a row. And I was texting with him, and I was like, "Oh, congrats! I thought he won." And he was like, "I think he won $50,000 for the event, which was massive." But now split that with 4 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
a
And
coach.
then
then
take out your
And then
expenses.
spread it out. And
Take out
then
your
spread it
coach.
out over
Yeah, and then
the
you're there
entire
for a
season.
week.
And
Then you're there for a week, and then now you're above the nine. Now you're paying 1099. You're getting 1099 on it. So it's like really
whatever the Canada tax
that's the
form
other-
is.
We'll
Yeah.
call it a 1099.
Yeah, we'll call it 1099.
A.
Yeah.
The 1099
The
A.
1099. Yeah. No, I get it. I hear it 100%. And hopefully it carries through, with your group and the slams and those major events, but hopefully it starts to trickle down to, USA curling events and maybe some. I mean, it's still
Well,
going
it
to be
has
hard
to,
to
right?
have.
Right? It really does. That's the long term, because even if we were to take and make the slams the greatest things on the face of the earth, curling can't survive on 4 events that not everybody can play in,
Right.
or 5
100%.
events. So it has to trickle down. It has to expand. It has to bring, there has to be levels to it, right? And so that's kind of our big focus moving forward. And that's why I say we're player centric, because especially in this beginning phase, there's no bad ideas, right? You want to gather as much information as you can, and there's no better place to gather information from the people that have curled for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it's kind of like just in business, just kind of picking and choosing, and sharing best practices and say, okay, here's what work. So like I've talked with Phil, we talked with Dean, and then they're super excited about it, which is great, because when your leadership is excited about it and your leadership wants to be a part of advancing the sport, it makes it easy to really rally the troops and bring everybody up.
100%. 100%.
Can I talk about football for a
Yeah.
minute?
Let's
Go.
talk about football.
Yeah,
Go.
for sure.
Let's talk about football. So, I hated you as a football player because
I
you
didn't. That was great.
were just a menace out there for many
Must have a
years.
Packers fan on here.
Yes, we're
Yep. Those two over there.
We're both season ticket holders.
both season ticket holders. I hated you in person. I hated you on TV. Both. Was the I get the feeling from most Vikings fans that the Super Bowl happens 2 times a year, for them, and that's when they play Green Bay. Was
Yeah,
that
because they sell their tickets and they make their season ticket money back because the Green Bay fans travel so well.
yeah? So, well, did it? I mean, as a player on the Vikings, like, did it feel like a different week than every other week?
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Okay.
think that was the North in general, right? You know, Bears was always fun, but Packers, especially when both teams are relevant, right?
Yeah.
When both
Mhm.
teams are relevant, there's no better rivalry in my opinion than Minnesota and Green Bay. But yeah, I used to literally have to go on the radio and like, please don't sell your tickets. I can remember games where I'm like, how is it louder when the Packers fans when the Packers are on defense right now than it is for us? Um, but yeah, I mean, and they go up there and win in Lambeau. I think that's probably because that stadium is just so iconic and just there's so much history there. So to win in Lambeau makes it that much greater. The fan base on both sides, it's one of the greatest rivalries in sports. It definitely adds more to it. And you know, I got to play. I wasn't with Minnesota when I played against Brett when he was with Green Bay, but to be with Brett in Minnesota and playing in you know against Green Bay twice a year was a different experience too because I mean that literally was amped up tenfold again.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
that was
sure.
a crazy game. That first game back when he came back to Green Bay, that was a
Yeah.
weird experience because there was, 80,000 people in there that are used to, worshiping the ground that guy walked on for whatever 17 years, and half of them wanted to boo or did boo, and half of them wanted to cheer or maybe did cheer, or it was just a weird vibe that whole night.
Oh, I can
But
only imagine. I think that's
It
what's
was.
cool about Green Bay, from a fan standpoint. Like, you know, most fans we always joke around when they say we, and they're like, "Oh, you were on the team?" Like, yeah, we won, we lost. But in Green Bay, it literally is a we because you guys own the team.
yeah,
I had a guy that played one time tell me he was the owner of the Green Bay Packers, and I was laughing, and he literally pulled out his like stock receipt. He was like, "Nope, I was one share of the Green Bay Packers."
Is that Ryan Longwell?
Yes.
so like, who was I'm stealing one of Mike's questions here, but like, who was the biggest trash talker on the football field?
Uh, Me, I was definitely
You.
one of
Yeah.
them. And then Pat Williams, that he could run his mouth pretty good. Um, from other teams, man, to be honest, Philip Rivers was always fun to play against because he liked to talk. Uh, yeah, you know, way I always viewed, if you're talking to me, you're not focused on your job. So I loved getting in guys' ears. I love just not only physically abusing them and then mentally having them just, you know, question things. So that was the best part about it. But yeah, when Pat and I got together, it was pretty fun.
Did how many guys gave it back to you as good as you thought you delivered it? Any?
No, people try. More people get feisty. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing is like if you're gonna trash talk, you have to have thick skin, right?
Sure.
And you have to be literally better than them. So, you know, and it's one of those deals where Lindell White, he tried to run his mouth a few times, but we just made fun of him for being fat and he didn't, you know, that took a turn. I think Pat, and they were beating us. They were beating us, and Pat just started making fun of him for the weight, and which is funny coming from Pat Williams, right?
Right.
Who, by the way, is skinny now. Now Pat
Is
lost
he
a
really?
Wow. Really?
Wow.
Oh yeah, and so we used to give it to Aaron Rodgers pretty solid. So some guys would laugh it off, give it back. Guys would try. You know, obviously Donald Penn and I, you know, we always were running our mouths to each other. But the ones I hated the most are the guys that didn't talk to me. Like Walter, I remember playing with Walter Jones and trying to against Walter Jones and trying to talk to him, and he just would sit there and not say a word to you, and I was just like, this sucks. And then he was hella good, so you're just like, oh, this sucks even more. And I was like,
What's some of the like funniest or like weird stuff you've heard people say to you? Like,
oh man, it's when my rookie year. So this was actually pretty funny. My rookie year, I was playing. It was our first preseason game. We were playing against the Giants, and and I was running with the twos at the time, and so I'm going against he was a veteran, but he was a backup, and Eli was he was in at the time, and so he was talking, "No, oh, you ain't doing nothing against me, rookie, or this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah," and so next thing you know, I get a sack, and I go up to him, he was all pissed off, like "F you, rookie," and I was like, "No, it sucks." I was like, if I'm a rookie and this is like your fifth year in the NFL, and we're like playing the same during the preseason, I was like, that probably means you're gonna get cut. And he was all, he looked, he was just like, he looked, he goes, man, that's probably some real stuff right there.
It's probably true.
That's too
Did
good.
Yeah, that's probably a solid point, solid point. I'm like,
Oh, that's great. That's great.
who's
oh,
the? Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, man, I was just saying, you hear some stuff out there every once in a while that makes you laugh, but for the most part, it's dumb stuff. You suck. Like, oh, good one. Okay.
Probably a lot of your mom stuff, right?
Yeah, that's about which
Yeah.
I tried to push it to the point to where like it was really offensive. But like if we saw each other off the field, he probably wasn't gonna fight me, but
Got it,
probably
got
maybe he wanted
Maybe
to.
wanted to,
No,
but
Also, like that
Yeah.
guy could be on your team next year. So like,
yes, very
Gotta be
much. So you have to be careful with that.
did you
Also,
ever
my
have that
rookie-
situation where there was a guy that you just really hated on a different team, and then all of a sudden he ended up being a teammate?
No,
forget names,
no,
but
I never ran into that. There was only a handful of people that I really didn't like. And is what now I had teammates I didn't like for sure.
There you go.
So there was that part, and but it had nothing to do with playing against them.
Sure.
So yeah, football's a weird deal, man. It's like, did you have a room of 53 alpha males or 60 with practice 60 plus with practice squad, and so you really for to everybody to get along and function. There's always a pecking order, but really nothing's off the table, right? You make fun of each other at the core of everything. You just so like
Yeah.
a locker room just isn't a place where I remember that's when we started. I remember when they started putting cameras in the locker room, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, corporate America's not gonna like what they hear, right? But that's the thing, man. That's how you keep the peace by and you humble people. Some athletes have the biggest egos, but they have to be humbled because you get made fun of for everything.
For
So
sure.
at some point, everybody learns to shrug it off, and you don't really carry it over too far.
Got it. All right, I got two rapid fire questions for you. Best
Sure.
athlete you ever played with and then against, like just
So-
just raw
Yep.
athlete.
Adrian Peterson, Michael Vick.
Purple Jesus. Yeah.
Whoa. All right.
Michael Vick. It's a. I don't want to say it's a shame about this whole dog fighting thing because it's
Right.
fucked up.
That's-
Excuse me,
yeah.
but like that guy might be the most athletic guy who's ever played sports. Period.
Ever.
I would argue.
I say
I would
Adrian
argue Bo
Peterson.
Jackson would probably be
Bo
in there,
Jackson, sure.
Jackson,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
that
see
was
Adrian
way
from the
before.
standpoint of
Yeah.
Adrian's ability, like, and his athleticism might only be geared towards football. I've never seen him play anything else outside of football.
Yeah.
But I mean, that dude is a absolute freak and is like can place his feet in meticulous, like just boom, boom, boom at full speed. But yeah, Michael Vick was, I mean,
And
absolutely ridiculous. So I'll tell you this: I got to meet Michael Vick some years back, and had a candid conversation with them and stuff like that. And I'll tell you why I respect that guy. He could have filed bankruptcy. He could have gone that route. That dude paid back every single dime
wow.
that he owed to the Falcons, and all the penalties, all that stuff.
Dang.
And talking with him, and he just was like, listen, I owed it. I had it. So from a human being standpoint, I think that's someone that he obviously learned his lesson, and getting to speak to him. Now I didn't know him outside of that. Getting to speak to him, hear his story and how it kind of evolved. I had a lot of respect for him because I'm like, that dude could have folded, filed bankruptcy, made an excuse for everything, and he manned up, took it on the chin, and just and moved forward.
I've heard that Adrian Peterson has an absolutely crushing handshake.
crushing to the point that you want to fight him because you think he's doing it on purpose.
Which is
All
kind of
right.
weird because like he'd fumble so much like in
Yeah.
third of his career, and then he got it taken care of. But like,
All right.
yeah,
You
That's a good one. If he would have had
Would've
that
had-
strong of hands, you'd think he would have held
you'd
on to
think
the
he would've
ball
held on to
better.
the ball
Yeah.
better, but
you
like,
you are the leader in 2 NFL all-time categories. Do you know what they are?
Safeties.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other one is. No.
It's all-time safeties and single-season safeties. You
Ah,
had 2
okay.
safeties in one season,
Yeah.
and then all-time safeties you're tied with, I think, 3 other
Word.
people for 4.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many? I'm sure I could find this on the Wikipedia, but how many sacks did you have in your career? Do you know off the top of your head?
136.
How many of those came against the Packers? Do you think?
A lot. I think I
lot.
sacked Aaron like close to like 19 times or something, like 18 times.
Where did you?
Wow.
No wonder I hated him so much.
Yeah. Where did you come up with your celebration? Well, I mean,
I
you
grew up
said-
on a ranch. My dad trained reining cutting horses growing up, and so I was actually out with Neil Smith. I was in Kansas City, and they were putting Neil in the Ring of Honor, and so I got a couple sacks against the Chargers, and I did his celebration, hitting the home run. And so we were out to dinner, and he was like, "Man, that was awesome. I appreciate it." He's like, "You got to come up with your own celebration. What that represents you." And so I was talking to my buddies back home. And they're like, "Bro, you grew up calf roping." I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." So when you're calf roping, you get them down, you tie legs up, throw your hands up.
throw
That's
your
when they
hands
stop the
up.
clock.
I thought it
And
was a
so
good
we
celebration.
started doing it, and people in Kansas City fell in love with it, and just kind of carried it through.
Like Craig, I was not a big fan of Jared Allen when he played for the Vikings, but man, that was a great. I got to respect a good celebration.
It was a good
That was a good
celebration.
celebration.
I just saw it too many times.
Yeah, 100%. Nice. Just a general question, maybe, and then we'll get into our last questions. Let you get out of here. I know you said you're moving, so we'll let you pack boxes, which I'm sure is way more fun than talking to us. You made it to the highest level of sports, and I think realistically, like youth sports from when you were younger and myself, we're probably not that much different in age. Do you have any kids in sports now?
I do. I have 2 girls. Yep, they play softball and volleyball and lacrosse and dance.
So
I mean, they try to play everything they possibly can.
love it. I think sports are still really important, but I think sounds like they're in a lot of sports. My guess is you played all the sports when you were coming up. Do you still see benefit in that? I think what I'm getting at is I think kids are specializing way too early.
I
And
agree. Yeah,
from somebody
I don't like this.
that's like made it to where you are. Do you think that's bad, good, indifferent? Do you have a take
No,
on
I
it?
think it's bad. I think the state of youth sports is horrible right now. I think it's
Great.
toxic, to be honest with you. It's to the standpoint, both my kids, like, to keep pace with everybody, they have to almost play a single sport year round. And, we're, my wife and I, we both agree, listen, I remember I used to run track to get ready for football or play baseball, or basketball to kind of
Yep.
stay in shape, and you were all in for that sport for that season. And so it's tough because, and now they're having cuts in 5th grade. We're here. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't have cuts. Yeah, maybe you had cuts in high school, but none of my high schools ever had cuts either. And we were always top teams. And so, the fact that they're cutting kids at an age where they don't even know what they want, you're not even developed, and they're already telling a kid you're not good enough at this sport. I have problems with that. Even some of as crazy competitive as I am, I think, at that age, if you get in high school, you want to start making cuts, that's fine. But in these younger ages,
Yeah.
it's about fundamentals. It's about, teaching proper growth. It's about, teaching kids hand-eye coordination and the benefits of it.
Working
Now,
together
I
as
think-
a team.
Yeah, and I think you
Yeah.
can be competitive in that realm. You can be competitive in that season. You can be all in for that season. But yeah, this whole kid specializing in year-round sports already at such a young age drives me absolutely nuts.
I'm glad to hear that because that's my take on it. And coming from somebody that defied the longest of odds in getting to the professional levels, which is where I see a lot of these like baseball academies and hockey academies. It's like, oh, you'll get to the pros, you'll go to college if you pay us $10,000 a year to play travel ball. It's like, you can't make that guarantee.
No, and then you burn your kid out, right? And not only that, you're teaching
100%.
them one set of, and you're only teaching them one set of muscle memory skills, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you'll have these people that might be fantastic hockey players but can't throw a ball.
Yeah.
Right. Or or vice versa. A great baseball player, but can't dribble a basketball or even know how to properly run, to be honest with you. You see it in basketball. I'll never forget the first time I saw a professional basketball game live. I was taken aback at how stiff a lot of these guys were, right? And I'm sure it's changed over the years now. This was some years ago. But I think I attribute to being a well-rounded athlete because I always played, different sports in different seasons. Yeah. And I still quit too early, to be honest. I quit playing all other sports around 7th, 8th grade to focus on football. And I regret it because I loved baseball. I loved stuff like that. So it's like,
it could have worked out for you though.
Yeah, it did work out, but I see it now, like I see, like I said, I see it with my own kids where, you get done playing volleyball, then you got to go play club, because if you don't play club and 4 of the other kids, now there's tryouts for the next year and all those club kids are going to be on the upper team. So you're trying to keep pace. And you don't really ever get to experience, what it is you want. And then you have the club sports now that don't allow you to play at your high school or don't allow you to play for your school. You miss out on this whole recruiting process. Miss out on this whole. It's the whole thing.
I think a lot of that too. I think a lot of that too is like, like you say, you're playing, with your school, and then you go, oh, you got to play club, and it's like, I think so much of that just like politics comes into it, and nepotism comes into it, and it's awful. It's like it's not just the best kids anymore. It's like, oh, well, this kid's parents are so and so, and it's just like, oh, come on, like.
No, and it does, and then it breeds this. It just breeds this competitiveness amongst parents, and you're just like, oh my goodness.
Oh, and that's garbage. Yeah, I see that too. Oh. So, all right, thank you. I didn't want to drag down the conversation, but I was curious what your take was.
Have you gotten your kids to try curling?
They have. So I promise that, like, see, this is they're at the age they want to play with they want to play the sports their friends are playing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like, come on, individual sports, like we can go curl, like it's not an individual sport, but no one else curls, right? So I'm like, come on, let's go to the ice, or let's go play golf. But no, they love it when they go out there. They'll throw rocks, and I get them on video. I got them sweeping a little bit, but it's been some time. I make them wear helmets so they get all pissed off at me.
I think I'm
one of those guys.
I'm an outdoorsman. I think you hunt and fish. Have your girls gone out hunting and fishing at all?
No, yeah. My oldest is 12, so
okay. Hopefully,
not quite old enough for that. Oh, they fish though. They fish all summer. They love to fish.
Okay. Hunting maybe.
They're way better fishing than me. I stick to hunting.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. My wife hunts, so I'm always an advocate for females getting out in the field and being
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's definitely. So
they will be proficient with shooting, and I'll probably be like the dad that on their like 16th birthday, instead of a car keys, they get like their own knife. They're like, here you go, Dad.
It's a knife.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Very good.
Just to go back one time, I coached juniors for about a year, maybe a year and a half, and like I had to wear ear pods behind the glass just because like the parents would talk and like they have no clue what they're saying. It was just like I had to stop. Like I couldn't listen to this because I would like laugh out loud when the parents would say this stuff, and like, no,
it's pretty bad.
It was bad.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. It's like, whew, you gotta just sit there and like. But then there's at times where like, and this is just human nature, and you get it, where something bad happens to your kid or a call doesn't get away, and you want to be that parent, like, son of a.
Yeah, like,
being that parent.
Come on.
Be that
yeah.
That's a terrible call, umpire.
That's terrible.
One thing before we get to the questions, I want to ask you about the the Wounded Warriors, the homes
Oh, yeah.
program
So
you
I
have.
started my foundation, Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors, back in 2009, and we build handicap accessible homes for wounded vets all over the country. When we're done, we give it to them. We give their house free and clear with no mortgage. And goodness, we've been rolling strong since 2009. I think what like we just did our 26th home. We just gave away like our
Wow.
Holy
26th
crap,
That's
that's
home.
good.
great.
And one of them's to a curler. We're doing one for a
Oh, really?
curler in Denver. He's on Pete Annis's wheelchair team.
All right.
So
That's great.
yeah, Daniel, we're doing that, and that one, I think we just did a lot ceremony, design ceremony, we did groundbreaking or something like that
That's awesome.
recently.
Great.
Does
So yeah, no, we're going strong. It's been good. We have great partners, and so
That's great. What's the vets like commitment to that? Like, do they just like help in the construction when they can? Do
nope,
they
nope,
nothing? They're
nothing at
just
all. So they've done enough. I tell people
yeah,
all the
sure.
time, you lose a leg for me. Listen, at least you deserve his house.
Yeah.
And so, no, there's no, so we work, some of our partners nationwide, like we partner with the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and all the different regional district councils. So a lot of our labor is done through them, and and depending on certain areas, they get their apprenticeship hours working on our houses. We have great partners in KB Homes. So like Daniel out in Denver, we're doing that through KB Homes, which is fantastic. 'Cause, I mean, they can turn our home around like in 6 months. I mean, it's crazy. And it's all specific to their needs, right? It's designed specifically for what they need. And like I said, when we're done, we give it to them free and clear, no mortgage, no debt to us, no contracts, nothing like that. And yeah, so it's been great. And like we've seen our projects, change people's lives. We've had recipients on the suicide watch list, and now they're married with multiple kids. So it's crazy what can happen when people get their lives back. We always kind of focus on the model, like, or the motto, sorry, of what is home? Home's my safest place at my most vulnerable time. And I don't think anybody deserves a home more than the people that defend the freedoms that we all take for granted every day.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, and being a vet, like I've helped out around here with some homes and moving them in and walking around the house. It's just I just didn't realize that it's just a little different. The hallways are a little wider. The kitchen's laid out a lot different, and like you go through your house, you're just like, yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, we
For
things
somebody.
like thresholds, right? Like, different, even the type of flooring you're putting in matters because you want it to be sustainable for wheelchair access, right? So bathrooms, making sure that you can wheel into the shower. So the big thing with
And
with
there's no
uh with
lip, like there's
women
no
who are on
lip in the
prosthetics,
transition.
right? Yeah, your transition strip's everything's got to be sunken. But being on your prosthetics is really actually hard. I mean, it takes wear and tear on people. So, a lot of amputees, they want to be in their chair as much as possible. And so we provide them, your home shouldn't be a hindrance, right? And so, yeah, it's doorways, it's lowered countertops, it's roll under stoves, it's drop down cupboards from the top, because and that's the other thing, you're talking about alpha men and women here, right, that have served their country, they're in the military, they're typically badass, and then you go to having to be dependent on others, and that's a blow. That's one of the hardest things they have to do. So they're learning how to walk, talk, think again in certain aspects, and also having to be reliant when they're used to being self-reliant. And so we found through our program that a lot of times giving them back their independence is one of the greatest gifts you can give them.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
And what's the website?
Homesforwarriors.com. You can check it out. We got all of our projects up there. Yeah, we're just cruising along.
Cool. Cool.
Excellent.
All right.
Great.
Well, we have a couple questions that we ask all of our guests. We'll rip through these quick. Some of them we've already gone over. One of the first ones is how did you start curling? We figured that out.
Yep.
Other than your home club, which could probably be T-Line or maybe Blaine, where's your favorite place to play? Where's your favorite place
Oh,
to
you know
curl?
what? I do like St. Paul. And actually, I'm a big fan of Chaska. I really am.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Bonspiel?
Yeah, you know what?
Probably haven't spieled a lot based on the way you've come into curling, but
No, I do most of the like WC bits. So we went over to Switzerland this year, and we hit a couple of the the curling the world tour events over there.
ooh, there you go.
And I will say that like that was fantastic. Both Bern and Basel, great clubs. Just a fun experience. Like it was great to see the difference in American and European curling and the approach everybody takes to it. So I really enjoyed that, and I would do that every year. Here stateside, always going back to, like I said, going back to Minneapolis is always nostalgic, and especially like we got our first win as a team in at the St. Paul Club. So
Whoa,
anytime
there you
St.
go.
Paul, we try to
Nice.
go.
Good answer. Good answer.
We haven't been in the sport very long, but setting aside money and championships, what's the best or weirdest thing you've won?
Maybe in your football career,
Or
maybe in like a
Well, no, I mean, I have a silver medal. I have a silver medal at nationals.
Yeah.
fair.
Well,
It's good enough.
yep.
No, it's setting championships aside. So that's a championship.
Oh,
So
that's
did you
okay.
get
Yeah,
did you get
championships and
anything
money don't
weird?
count.
Like, did you ever go to a bowl game and just get something just completely odd? And
No, I went to a 1AA. I was a 1AA kid, so no,
got
I
it.
didn't.
Oh man. All right.
Well, all right. I'm going to sidetrack this conversation for a
Yeah,
second.
do it.
Then, being a 1AA guy, how did you what was your path to get into the draft? Like, how did that even
Or were you
happen?
undrafted free agent?
Because you were
Oh,
playing
you're
in
drafted.
Oh, he was drafted. That's
playing
that's off.
in
Good for him.
Mormon country up there in Pocatello.
Yep.
So like, who's scouting
So
Idaho
actually, we had
State games?
one of our backup quarterbacks. His dad was a scout for the Niners, but I led the nation in sacks that year.
Okay.
Both 1A and AA my senior year. So I drew a lot of
bragging.
attention. I was also probably what the top long snapper coming out. I can long snap really well. And so I got a lot of attention for that. My buddy, my punter the year before, he got drafted to Minnesota. So, we had a decent amount of scouts come through. And then I grew up in California, so I was able to go pro days down at the down in California, some of the bigger schools. But I played in the East West Shrine game. I got invited to the combine. So I just took advantage of every opportunity I had, and like I said, I was able to kind of some right people in the right places, and lo and behold, fourth round came, and they called my name.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
I think we know this one as well, but if you want to expound on it, you can. It's her question is, what helped you along the way in becoming a better curler?
Practice, honestly, and just listening to and paying attention. I think the biggest thing is just gathering information and and taking it in and just being dedicated to the craft.
Love it.
Outside of curling or football, what's a skill or talent that you have that people need to know about?
Oh, skill or talent that I have that people know about. Pretty solid at long range shooting. So I have hit 10-inch steel from a mile before.
Whoa.
So,
Holy
A
crap.
mile. That's a long ways.
That is a mile. Yeah.
That's a mile.
other than that, what else have I pre-
10.
I don't know.
10
I guess I grew up on. Everybody kind of knows I grew up on horse race. So I don't know. I don't really have a skill set no one knows about.
What? Where was this ranch that you grew up on?
Northern California. My dad managed ranches and trained ranches all over kind of Northern California, San Jose area, San Jose, Gilroy, Morgan Hill.
Okay.
And so he was a reining cut horse trainer, and then some of his buddies roped. So I grew up kind of calf roping. And then
Could
I
you
got
rope a
little
calf
short-
from a horse?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was actually just roping for the day.
That's a skill.
That's a skill
Hell
and
yeah.
a talent that we should know about.
Yeah, I was just roping the other day.
Awesome.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. When's the last time you roped one?
Oh,
That's
a couple
awesome.
days ago. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
So I think
awesome.
that's probably going to be the only answer we're going to have for that.
Yeah, that's probably the
ever
only
on the
calf
show.
roper.
We did have a boar farmer though.
That's true.
so-
That's true. Awesome. All right. You're going to a bonspiel with your ideal team. You can take anybody you want, living, dead, curlers, non-curlers, whoever you want.
Goodness.
Who would you like to take? And if sub-question, if you want to throw it in there, where would you like to go with that team?
Oh goodness. Well, I'm taking Jesus because now I just won. Right, guaranteed winner. Guaranteed winner.
Okay.
And water into wine, he fits great into a curling club.
Great answer.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian, so I can play. I can make
Sure.
jokes.
Love that.
So
good.
for anybody that gets offended, for anybody that gets offended out there, don't
No.
be offended.
We
No,
don't.
that's a great
We don't
answer.
care. If they're offended, don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into that. So second, let's see. I mean, you really conquer all your necessary skill sets with that first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's myself. Goodness, I probably, you know what? Just because I would like to see the interaction between Jesus and Cooey, I'd probably take Cooey. Just feel like I just feel
Well,
like
hold on.
Which Cooey?
Jamie or Kevin?
Which Cooey? Yeah,
Kevin.
which Cooey talking
Kevin.
about?
Cooey. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Jamie
just
would
figured
be
when
a
I saw
riot.
him
with
shaking on,
Jamie
I
and
saw him
Jesus?
shaking on the ice in Vegas. I was just like, okay, there's
Yep.
something
Okay.
going on right there.
All right.
Um, goodness, who else have we seen? Past living. I gotta say, who would I want to see? Like this is a tough one. Probably, man. I'm trying to think of the. Oh, you know what? The cat from Sweden. I mean, from Sweden.
Nicodine?
Yeah,
King Nick?
Nicotine.
King
King
Nick.
Nick?
He's
All right.
Yeah.
he's a
Love
monster.
that. Good
He's a
answer.
monster.
All right. Do you
And
want to take a fifth in
then-
case somebody drinks too much?
Yeah,
I
you
think
got you
there's
gotta
a-
have a full team.
I think
Yeah.
there's
I
gonna
think
be
the
some,
fifth-
there's gonna be too much
Well,
drinking on
yeah.
this
Well,
team.
yeah.
I think,
Definitely.
especially if Jesus is making wine.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Gotta
just wanted to
think who-
rehydrate.
who-
Oh,
That's it.
sorry.
Yep.
You know what?
Drunk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my tried and true just because he's my guy. I'm taking Jason Smith with me wherever. I go.
Love that.
Take it
All
to the
right.
house.
All
Take it
right.
to the-
Smitty coming along.
We're
That's a
fans of
hell of a
Smitty around
team.
here.
That's
Yeah.
a
That's a
fun.
great
That's a
team.
fun team.
Some answers we
At least
haven't
I
had
think
so
it's gonna
far.
be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jesus might
Yeah.
tamper some of the
Kuda.
fun,
Who
but
knows
maybe
about
not.
Kuda?
I'm sure Smitty drinks wine, but I've only seen him drink Coors Light, I think.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's all right.
I'm
I've
sure.
seen him
Smitty will-
drink a few
Smitty will
other
figure it
things,
out.
but
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. If you had a walk-up song for curling, what would your walk-up song be?
Probably Careless Whispers.
Yeah.
I think that's the second time that's
Yeah, I
been.
think
Yeah.
Colin Huffman
Colin
had
Huffman.
that one. That was their.
Of course he did, because Colin's fantastic.
Because Colin's fantastic. Because Colin has fantastic taste in music. Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
100%. All right. Normally we have a spot here. If you have any sponsors, do you have any sponsors you want to shout out? You mentioned your Wounded Warrior project. What's the website one more time?
Just homeschoolwarriors.com.
Homesforwoundedwarriors.com. All right. Anything else? Any
No,
sponsors
that's it.
on Team Ronin you want to mention? It's TSR time, right?
Yeah.
It's always
they're all,
TSR time.
they're all friends of mine. Yeah, there you go, TSO.
Very good.
Yeah.
Jared, thank you. We appreciate your time. Good luck next season, wherever curling may take you. And then good luck with the slams. I hope some good stuff comes out of it, mostly some U.S. Broadcast rights so that we can watch some more curling here in the United States. That'd be great. Would like to run into you sometime on the curling ice. That'd be great.
Perfect. Absolutely.
not literally.
Well, not
not
literally run into you. I'm a small
Don't
fella.
run into Craig. He'll threaten to fight you.
I would fight Craig tomorrow, right now.
I run into him
Yeah.
15
Well,
weeks
I
a
got-
year on the
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
So
Well, I do got half a case of beer in the fridge, so we get through that.
Yeah.
then
It'll
we'll,
be
probably
fight,
fine.
we'll go outside in the
Very good.
thunderstorm.
Thank you. Good luck with the move. And yeah. Good
Appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Thanks for having me on.
All
Hey,
right.
you bet.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah.
School.
Later. All right. Fuck it, I'm going with it. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Season 4, Episode 12. I'm glad you stuck around this long. Nothing but one more laugh. with our professionalism or lack thereof. Big thanks to our sponsors, as always, Modus Financial. Check them out at moduscc.com. Also, Endgame Curling, endgamecurling.com. We really appreciate Mason and Croy. They're great dudes and just great sponsors of the show. So thank you for that. We're not sure if we're going to put another one in the can or not.
Yeah.
But
I think we are.
looks like we are. Why not? Another reason to get together and have a beer. If you want us to shout you out on the show, email the show, curlingnation@curlingnetwork.com. Get in touch with us on the social medias. We're out there. The Mike 720, Curling Craig. Joel runs the Curling Nation one. Craig. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what else we got. Oh, we still have ends cards. You can get in touch with us. We'll send them to you. I don't know. Give us a couple bucks.
Help support the show.
Help support the show. Otherwise, that's it. Big thanks to Jared for coming on. That's it.
Craig.
Craig.
Joel.
Mike. Good curling, everybody. We're out.